The toy store clerk smiled too wide when I picked up the doll. Her teeth looked sharp in the yellow store lights. She wrapped it in brown paper without asking if I wanted a bag. "Your boy will love this one," she said. "Kids always do." I should have walked away right then. But Tommy had been asking for something special for weeks. His 8th birthday was tomorrow, and I wanted to surprise him. The doll had weird eyes, one yellow, one red, but Tommy liked strange things. The drive home felt longer than usual. Every time I looked in the mirror, I swear the package moved. Just tiny shifts, like something was breathing inside. I turned the radio up loud to stop thinking about it. Tommy was in the living room when I got home. He was building with his blocks, making tall towers that reached toward the ceiling. "What's in the bag, Dad?" he asked without looking up. I hadn't told him I went shopping. "Something for tomorrow," I said. "For your birthday." He finally turned around. His eyes looked different somehow. Bigger. More excited than I'd seen him in months. "Can I see it now? Please?" I shook my head. "Tomorrow, buddy. After breakfast." That night, I hid the package in my closet. It felt heavier than before. When I set it down, I heard a soft thump from inside, like something had shifted and settled. I closed the closet door fast. Sleep didn't come easy. I kept hearing noises from upstairs, little footsteps in the hallway, whispers that sounded like Tommy talking to someone. But when I checked on him, he was fast asleep. His room was quiet and still. Morning came with gray clouds and no sun. Tommy ran downstairs before I even made coffee. "Is it time for my present?" he asked. His pajamas were dirty, like he'd been crawling around outside. But that was impossible. His bedroom window was locked. "Let me wake up first," I said. "Go wash your face." He disappeared upstairs. I heard water running in the bathroom, then silence, then the sound of his door closing. I made breakfast and called him down. No answer. I called again. Still nothing. I climbed the stairs with his present in my hands. His door was shut tight. I knocked twice. "Tommy? Breakfast is ready." "I'm playing," came his voice from inside. But it sounded strange, deeper than usual, like he had a cold. "Can you leave my present outside the door?" "I want to see your face when you open it," I said. "Please, Dad, just leave it there." Something in his voice made me step back. It didn't sound like Tommy anymore. I set the package down and went back to the kitchen. Maybe he was just excited. Kids got weird when they were excited. Hours passed. No sounds from upstairs. No footsteps. No toilet flushing. Nothing. I made lunch and called up to him. He said he wasn't hungry. His voice still sounded wrong. Too deep. Too calm. By dinner time, I was getting worried. I knocked on his door again. "Tommy, you need to eat something." "I'm not hungry, Dad." "Open the door. Let me see you." "I'm busy playing." "With what?" "I can't hear anything in there." Long silence. Then, "With my new friend." My skin went cold. I pressed my ear to the door. No sounds at all, not even breathing. Like his room was completely empty. But I could smell something strange, like old meat, like something rotting. "Tommy, open this door right now." "I can't. We're in the middle of a game." I tried the handle. Locked from inside. When did Tommy learn to lock his door? I didn't even know his door had a lock. I ran to get my tools from the garage. The screwdriver shook in my hands as I worked on the hinges. The screws were tight, like they'd been painted over many times. It took forever to get them loose. The smell got stronger as I worked, sweet and sick. Finally, the door came free. I lifted it away and stepped inside. The room was dark. All the curtains were closed. I reached for the light switch. "Don't," said Tommy's voice from the corner. "He doesn't like bright lights." I flipped the switch anyway. The bulb flashed once and went out. In that quick moment of light, I saw Tommy sitting on his bed, but something was wrong with his face. His eyes looked different. One was yellow, one was red. "Tommy?" I whispered. He turned toward me. In the dim light from the hallway, I could see him clearly now. His skin was too pale, his smile was too wide, and his eyes weren't his anymore. "Hi, Dad," he said in that deep, wrong voice. "Do you want to meet my new friend?" Something moved in the corner of the room, something small and white, the doll, but it wasn't lying down like a normal toy. It was sitting up, looking at me with its mismatched eyes. "We've been playing games all day," Tommy said. "Fun games. Want to play with us?" I backed toward the doorway. "Tommy, come with me. Right now. I can't leave. We're not done playing yet." The doll moved, just a little. Its head turned to look at me better. I wasn't imagining it. The thing was moving on its own. "What kind of games?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "Trading games," Tommy said. "I give him something, and he gives me something back." "What did you give him?" Tommy's smile got even wider. "My eyes, and he gave me his." I looked at the doll again. Its eyes were normal now, brown, like Tommy's used to be. But Tommy's eyes were yellow and red, just like the doll's had been. "That's impossible," I said. "Want to trade too, Dad?" "It doesn't hurt. It just feels like going to sleep." I grabbed Tommy's arm and pulled. He didn't fight me, but he felt different, lighter, like he was hollow inside. His skin was cold as ice. "I have to stay," he said calmly. "We're not finished yet." "Finished with what?" Tommy pointed at the doll. "He's teaching me things, important things, about the game, about how to find more players." The doll's mouth moved. No sound came out, but I could see its tiny teeth, sharp and white. Its arms started to lift up, reaching toward me. I pulled Tommy harder. This time he came with me, but he kept looking back at the doll. "He's going to be mad," Tommy said. "He doesn't like when people leave in the middle of a game." We made it to the hallway. I slammed the door shut and pushed a chair against it. Tommy stood next to me, but he felt like a stranger. Everything about him was wrong. "Why did you do that?" he asked. "Now he's trapped." "Good. That thing isn't normal." Tommy tilted his head. "Neither am I. Not anymore." I looked into his new eyes. The yellow one seemed to glow in the dark hallway. The red one looked like it was full of blood, but behind them I could still see a little bit of my son. "Tommy, we need to get you to a doctor." "Doctors can't fix this, Dad. This isn't broken. This is better." A loud bang came from his room, then another. The doll was throwing itself against the door. The chair I'd used to block it started to slide. "He wants out," Tommy said. "He wants to play with you, too." "We're leaving. Right now." I grabbed Tommy's hand and pulled him toward the stairs. His fingers felt like cold plastic. We made it halfway down before I heard the door burst open above us. Tiny footsteps ran across the hallway. Fast little steps like a child running, but I knew it wasn't a child. It was that doll chasing after us. We reached the front door. I fumbled with the locks while the footsteps got closer. Tommy stood beside me, perfectly calm. "You can't run from the game, Dad. Once it starts, you have to finish." The locks finally clicked open. I pulled Tommy outside and slammed the door behind us. We ran to the car. I started the engine and backed out fast. In the rearview mirror, I saw something small and white standing in our front window, watching us leave. Its mismatched eyes caught the streetlight and seemed to glow. "Where are we going?" Tommy asked. "Somewhere safe, somewhere that thing can't follow us." Tommy was quiet for a long time, then he said, "Dad." "What?" "I'm still hungry, but not for food." I looked at him in the mirror. His yellow eye was glowing brighter now. His smile looked exactly like the dolls had in the store. Too wide, too happy. "What are you hungry for?" I asked, though I didn't really want to know. "For more players. The game is more fun with more people." I drove faster. We needed help. But who would believe this? Who would understand? I thought about calling the police, but what would I tell them? That my son traded eyes with a doll? We stopped at a gas station outside town. I needed to think, to figure out what to do next. Tommy stayed in the car while I went inside to buy coffee. The clerk was young, maybe 16. She had bright blue eyes and a nice smile. "Kind of late to be driving with a kid," she said. "We're going to visit family," I lied. She looked past me toward the car. "Cute boy. He's got really interesting eyes." I turned around. Tommy was pressed against the car window, staring at the girl. His yellow eye was practically glowing. His red eye looked wet, like it was crying blood. "Yeah," I said quickly. "He's special." When I got back to the car, Tommy was excited. "I like her, Dad. She seems nice. Do you think she wants to play?" "Number, we're not stopping anywhere else. But the game is so much fun. Don't you want more people to enjoy it?" I started driving again. In the mirror, I watched Tommy turn to look back at the gas station. The girl was still visible through the windows, cleaning the counter. "Maybe next time," Tommy said softly. We drove through the night. I didn't know where we were going, just away. Away from the house, away from that doll, away from whatever was happening to my son. But Tommy wasn't really my son anymore, was he? Something else was looking out through those strange eyes. Something that wanted to spread its game to other people. "Dad," Tommy said as the sun started to rise. "What now?" "I miss my friend. He's probably lonely without me." "Good. I hope he stays lonely forever." Tommy laughed. It didn't sound like a child's laugh. It sounded like something much older, much hungrier. "You don't understand the rules yet, Dad, but you will. Everyone learns the rules eventually." "What rules?" "The doll doesn't need to be with me to play. Once we trade, we're connected. He can see what I see, go where I go." Tommy smiled at me in the mirror. "He's already here." My hands started shaking on the steering wheel. "That's not possible." "Look in your mirror, Dad." "Really look." I glanced up. In the reflection, I could see Tommy in the back seat, but standing right behind him was something small and white. The doll. Its mismatched eyes were staring straight at me. I spun around to look. Nothing there. Just Tommy, sitting alone, But when I looked back in the mirror, the doll was still there, still watching. "It's just a reflection game," Tommy said. He likes to play with mirrors, windows too, any surface that shows what's real. I tried to focus on the road, but every time I looked in the mirror, the doll was there, sometimes sitting next to Tommy, sometimes standing on the seat. Once, it was pressed right against the back window, its face squished flat against the glass. "Make it stop," I said. "I can't. We're connected now, all three of us." "How do I break the connection?" Tommy thought about this. "I don't think you can. Once the game starts, it doesn't end. It just gets bigger." We pulled into a motel parking lot. I was too tired to drive anymore, too scared to think straight. I got us a room with 2 beds. Maybe if I could sleep, I could figure out what to do. The room was small and dark, ugly brown carpet and yellow walls. Tommy sat on one bed and stared at the blank TV screen. In the black reflection, I could see the doll sitting right next to him. "Don't look at the TV," I said. "Why not? He's not doing anything bad. He's just waiting." "Waiting for what?" "For you to decide." "Decide what?" Tommy turned to look at me with his mismatched eyes. "Whether you want to play or not. Whether you want to trade." I sat on the other bed and put my head in my hands. This was impossible. None of this could be real. Maybe I was having a breakdown. Maybe the stress of being a single dad had finally gotten to me. "Dad?" Tommy's voice was softer now, more like his old self. "Are you okay?" I looked up. For a moment, his eyes looked normal again, brown, like they used to be. But then I blinked, and they were yellow and red again. "I want my son back," I said. "I'm still here, just different, better." "You're not better, you're wrong. Everything about this is wrong." Tommy nodded. "I know, but wrong can be fun too. Wrong can be exciting." I lay down and closed my eyes. Maybe if I ignored all of this, it would go away. Maybe I'd wake up and Tommy would be normal again. Maybe this was all just a bad dream. But when I opened my eyes, the doll was sitting on my chest. Its tiny hands were pressed against my face. Its mismatched eyes were inches from mine. I screamed and swatted at it. My hands passed right through it, like it was made of air. But I could still feel its weight on my chest, still smell that rotting meat smell. "He wants to show you something," Tommy said from the other bed. The doll leaned closer. Its mouth opened wide, showing rows of needle-sharp teeth. Inside its mouth, I could see moving pictures, like a tiny movie screen. I saw myself as a child, playing with toys in my bedroom, happy and innocent. Then I saw myself growing up, getting married, having Tommy, losing my wife in the car accident, raising Tommy alone. But in the doll's mouth movie, things were different. In its version, I was never alone. The doll was always there, watching from toy stores, following us home, waiting for the right moment to start its game. "It's been planning this for years," Tommy said. "Ever since Mom died. It knew you'd be desperate to make me happy. Desperate enough to buy anything." The doll's movie showed me in the toy store. But this time I could see the truth. The clerk wasn't human. Her teeth really were sharp. Her eyes were yellow and red, just like the doll's. She was part of the game, too. "How many people are playing?" I whispered. "Lots," Tommy said. "The game is very popular." The doll climbed off my chest and walked across the room. Its little legs moved like a real person's. It climbed onto Tommy's bed and whispered something in his ear. Tommy nodded. He says it's time to go home now. He says the game works better in familiar places. We're not going back there. We have to. The rules say so. What rules? Who made these rules? Tommy shrugged. I don't know. The rules just are. Like gravity. Like breathing. I got up and paced around the small room. There had to be a way out of this. Some way to save Tommy. To end this nightmare. What happens if I refuse to play? I asked. Nothing bad, Tommy said. You just stay the way you are. Human, boring, alone. And what happens if I do play? You become part of something bigger. Something fun. Something that lasts forever. I looked at Tommy. Really looked at him. Despite the wrong eyes and the cold skin, he seemed happy. Happier than he'd been since his mom died. Maybe that was worth something. Would it hurt? I asked. Tommy smiled. Only for a second. Then it feels like flying. I sat back down on the bed. The doll walked over and climbed onto my lap. This time it felt real, solid. Its weird eyes looked up at me with something like kindness. Okay, I said, let's go home. The drive back felt different. The doll sat between me and Tommy, perfectly still. Tommy hummed a song I'd never heard before, something with no real melody, just random notes that somehow fit together. When we pulled into our driveway, the house looked normal, but I knew it wasn't. I knew everything had changed forever. Inside, Tommy ran straight up to his room. The doll followed, its little legs moving fast to keep up. I stood in the living room listening to them play above me, but it wasn't the sound of normal play. There were no toy car noises, no make-believe conversations, just whispers, planning whispers. Dad, Tommy called down. Come up here. We want to show you something. I climbed the stairs slowly. Each step felt heavier than the last. Tommy's door was open. His room looked the same as always, except for one thing. All the mirrors were gone. Where are the mirrors? I asked. We put them away, Tommy said. Mirrors are for the end of the game. When everything is finished. The doll was sitting on Tommy's bed, holding something in its tiny hands. A pair of eyes. Brown eyes. Human eyes. Are those? I started to ask. Mine, Tommy said proudly. My old ones. He saved them for you. I understood then. The final trade. The doll would give me Tommy's original eyes, and I would give it mine. Then we'd all be connected, all part of the same game. Will I still be me? I asked. Tommy tilted his head, thinking. Sort of, but better. Like I'm better now. The doll held out the brown eyes. They looked so normal, so familiar. They were the eyes I'd looked into every day for 8 years. The eyes that looked like his mother's. I took them. They felt warm and wet. Real. Close your eyes, Dad, Tommy said softly. This part is easier if you don't watch. I closed my eyes. I felt tiny hands touching my face, gentle fingers at the corners of my eyes. A slight pressure, then a quick, sharp pain. When I opened my eyes again, everything looked different. Colors were brighter, shapes were clearer, and I could see things that weren't really there. In the corner of the room, I saw the clerk from the toy store. She waved at me with her sharp smile. Next to her stood a man I didn't recognize, but somehow knew. He had yellow and red eyes, too. "Welcome to the game," Tommy said. "Now comes the fun part." "What's the fun part?" I asked. My voice sounded different, deeper. "Finding new players." Tommy grinned. "I know lots of kids at school who would love to play." I nodded. That did sound fun. We could share the game with everyone, make them all part of our family. The doll climbed onto my shoulder and whispered in my ear. Its voice was like wind through dead leaves. It told me about all the other families playing the game, all the other children who'd found new toys and new eyes. "When do we start?" I asked. "Tomorrow," Tommy said. "At school, during recess." I picked up the doll and held it close. It felt like holding Tommy when he was a baby, warm and precious and full of possibility. Outside, the sun was setting. Night was coming. Time for the game to spread. Tommy took my hand. His skin felt normal now, warm instead of cold, real instead of plastic. "Are you ready, Dad?" I looked down at him with my new eyes. My son, my strange, wonderful son. "I'm ready." We walked downstairs together, the doll cradled in my arms. Tomorrow would bring new players, new trades, new family members. The game was just beginning, and I couldn't wait to play. That night I dreamed of eyes, thousands of them, floating in darkness like stars. Each pair was different, blue, green, brown, gray. But they all had one thing in common. They were all watching me. When I woke up, the doll was sitting on my nightstand. Its mismatched eyes were open, staring at me in the morning light. I didn't remember bringing it into my room. "Good morning, Dad," Tommy said from the doorway. He was already dressed for school. His backpack was over his shoulder, and he looked normal, except for his eyes. "Did you sleep well?" I asked. "I don't need sleep anymore," he said. "Not like before. Now I just rest and dream about the game." I got dressed and made breakfast. Tommy ate his cereal slowly, like he was thinking about something important. The doll sat on the table between us, perfectly still. "What happens at school today?" I asked. I introduced my friends to the game, show them how fun it can be. Tommy smiled. "Some of them might want to play right away. Others might need time to think about it." "What if they don't want to play?" Tommy shrugged. "Then they don't play. The game doesn't force anyone, it just waits." I drove Tommy to school like any other day, but everything felt different now. The other kids in the parking lot looked so normal, so human. Their eyes were all the wrong colors, plain brown, boring blue, ordinary green. "I'll pick you up at 3, I said. "Maybe earlier," Tommy said. "If lots of kids want to play, we might need to go home and get more toys." "More toys?" Tommy pointed to the doll in my lap. "He's not the only one. There are others, waiting in the store, waiting for the right kids to find them." I watched Tommy walk into the school building. He moved differently now, more confident, like he knew secrets that the other kids didn't. The doll stayed with me as I drove to work. I was a mechanic at a small garage downtown. Nothing fancy, but it paid the bills. My boss, Mr. Peterson, was already there when I arrived. "You look different today, Mike," he said. "Something about your eyes." "New contacts," I lied. "Huh, they make you look younger somehow, sharper." I worked on cars all morning, but I couldn't focus. The doll sat on my toolbox watching me work. Every time I looked at it, it seemed to be in a slightly different position. Around noon, my phone rang. It was the school. "Mr. Davis, this is Principal Martinez. We need you to come in. There's been an incident with Tommy." My stomach dropped. What kind of incident? It's hard to explain over the phone. Can you come in as soon as possible? I grabbed the doll and drove to the school fast. The principal's office was full of people. Teachers, parents, kids. Everyone looked confused and worried. "Mr. Davis," Principal Martinez said when she saw me, "thank you for coming. Tommy is fine, but we need to talk about what happened at recess." She led me to a small room where Tommy was sitting at a table. He looked perfectly calm, happy even. "Hi, Dad," he said. "I think some of my friends want to play the game." "What happened?" I asked the principal. According to the playground monitor, Tommy was showing the other children some kind of toy, $1. Then several children started acting strangely. Strangely how? They stopped playing their normal games. They all gathered around Tommy and started whispering. When we tried to separate them, they wouldn't move. They just stood there, staring at Tommy's toy. I looked at Tommy. He was smiling that too wide smile. I told them about the game, about how fun it is. Some of them really want to try it. "Where are those children now?" I asked. "In the nurse's office. They're fine physically, but they keep asking about the toy. They want to see it again." Principal Martinez looked at me carefully. "Mr. Davis, I'm going to ask you a strange question. Is there something unusual about that doll?" Before I could answer, Tommy spoke up. "It's not unusual, it's special. It helps kids play better games." "What kind of games?" the principal asked. "Trading games, sharing games, games that make everyone part of the same family." I could see the principal was getting more worried. "Mr. Davis, I think it would be best if Tommy went home for the rest of the day. We need time to figure out what's happening." "Can I say goodbye to my friends?" Tommy asked. "The children in the nurse's office? I don't think that's a good idea right now." Tommy's smile faded. "But they're waiting for me. They want to learn the rules." "Tommy," I said firmly, we're going home now." As we left the school, I could see faces in the nurse's office window. 5 or 6 kids, all pressed against the glass, all staring at the doll in my hands. Their eyes looked different somehow, brighter, more focused. "They're ready," Tommy said as we got in the car. "They just need the right toys." "Tommy, we can't do this to other kids. Their parents will be worried." "Their parents can play too. The game is for everyone." I drove home in silence. The doll felt heavier in my lap, like it was getting stronger, more real. At home, Tommy went straight to his room. I could hear him moving around up there, talking to himself, or maybe talking to something else. I sat in the living room, holding the doll. Its eyes seemed to be looking into mine, seeing things I didn't even know were there. "What do you want?" I whispered to it. The doll didn't answer, but I could feel its thoughts somehow, pictures in my mind, images of the toy store, rows and rows of dolls, all waiting, all hoping to be chosen. My phone rang. It was Principal Martinez again. "Mr. Davis, I'm afraid we have a problem. The children who were with Tommy today, they won't stop asking about the doll. Their parents are here, and the kids won't go home. They say they need to see the toy again. What do you want me to do? Could you bring Tommy back with the doll? Maybe if they see it again, they'll calm down." I looked upstairs. Tommy was standing at the top of the stairs, listening. He gave me a thumbs up. "We'll be right there," I said. Back at the school, the parking lot was full of cars. Parents were everywhere, looking confused and scared. I could see the kids through the windows, all crowded together in one classroom. "They won't separate," Principal Martinez explained. "They keep whispering to each other, making plans." "What kind of plans?" "We can't tell. They stop talking whenever an adult gets close." Tommy and I walked into the classroom. The kids looked up at us like we were the most important people in the world. Their eyes were all shining with excitement. "Did you bring it?" asked a little girl with pigtails. I held up the doll. All the kids moved closer. They formed a circle around us, staring at the toy with hungry eyes. "Can we see it up close?" asked a boy with freckles. Tommy took the doll from me and held it up. The kids gasped. A few of them reached out to touch it. "It's beautiful," whispered a girl with red hair. "Its eyes are so pretty." "Would you like eyes like that?" Tommy asked. The kids nodded eagerly. "Can we? Can we trade too?" "Tommy," I said quietly, "maybe we should..." "It's okay, Dad. They want to play. We can't say no to kids who want to play." One by one, the children reached out to touch the doll. Each time a new hand touched it, the child's eyes would change. Just a little, just enough to show they were part of the game now. The parents outside started getting louder, more worried, but the kids didn't seem to hear them anymore. They were too focused on the doll. "Where do we get our own toys?" asked the boy with freckles. His eyes were starting to look yellow around the edges. "There's a special store," Tommy said. "My dad can take you there." "When?" asked the girl with pigtails. Her eyes were turning red at the centers. "After school. Today. Right now." I wanted to say no, to stop this. But looking at the kids' faces, I could see how happy they were, how excited. Maybe Tommy was right. Maybe the game really was better. "Okay," I said, "but we need to tell your parents." "Our parents can come too," said the red-haired girl. "They might want to play." We walked outside together. The kids moved like a group now, all in step, all thinking the same thoughts. Their parents rushed over, asking questions. "What's wrong with their eyes?" asked one mom. "They look different," said a dad. "Brighter somehow." "We're going to play a game," announced the girl with pigtails. "A really fun game. Do you want to play too?" The parents looked at each other nervously, but I could see something in their faces, curiosity, maybe even a little bit of want. "What kind of game?" asked the mom. "A trading game," Tommy said. "We trade things we don't need for things we do need." "What do you trade?" asked the dad. Tommy smiled. "Come with us and find out." The toy store was on the other side of town. We drove there in a convoy of cars. The kids were all quiet during the ride, but I could see them in the mirrors. They were all smiling, all looking forward to something. The store looked different in the afternoon light. Darker, more mysterious. The sign above the door flickered like it was about to go out. Inside, the same clerk was waiting. Her sharp smile was even wider than before. "Back so soon?" she asked. "And you brought friends?" The kids spread out through the store looking at all the toys, but they were all drawn to one section, the doll section, rows of dolls with different colored eyes. "So many choices," whispered the boy with freckles. His eyes were completely yellow now. "How do we pick?" asked the girl with pigtails. Her eyes were solid red. "The toys pick you," said the clerk. "You just have to listen." The kids stood very still, listening. One by one, they started moving toward different dolls, like they were being called. The parents watched nervously. "This is getting weird," said one dad. "Maybe we should go." "But look how happy they are," said a mom. "When's the last time you saw kids this focused on something?" The red-haired girl picked up a doll with green eyes. The moment she touched it, her hair started to change color, from red to green like her new toy. "Sweetie," her mom said, "your hair." "It's okay, Mom. It's supposed to happen. It's part of the game." One by one, the kids chose their dolls, and one by one, they started to change. Not just their eyes and hair, their whole faces, their skin, their voices. "This isn't normal," said a dad. "We need to leave, now." But when he tried to grab his son, the boy didn't move. He was solid as stone, unmovable. "I'm not done playing yet," the boy said in a voice that didn't sound like his own. "None of us are done," said Tommy. "The game is just getting started." The parents started to panic. Some tried to call the police on their phones, but the phones weren't working. The screens were black. "Don't worry," said the clerk. "Everything will be fine. You just need to understand the rules." "What rules?" demanded a mom. "The same rules your children are learning, the rules of the game." The clerk walked over to a different section of the store. Adult toys, dolls that looked like grown-ups, business people, mothers, fathers. "You can play too," she said. "Family games are always more fun." I looked at the adult dolls. They were beautiful in their own way. Perfect faces, perfect clothes, eyes that seemed to see everything. "What happens if we play?" I asked. "You become part of something bigger, something that lasts forever." "And if we don't play?" The clerk's smile got sharper. "Then you watch your children play without you. Forever." The kids were all holding their new dolls now. They looked at their parents with their changed eyes, eyes full of love, but also full of something else, something hungry. "Please play with us," said the girl with pigtails. "We want to be a family." "A real family," said the boy with freckles. "A forever family." The parents looked at each other, then at their children, then at the adult dolls. "Will it hurt?" asked a mom. "Only for a second," Tommy said. "Then it feels like coming home." One by one, the parents picked up dolls. The clerk wrapped each one in brown paper just like she'd done for me. "Payment?" asked one dad. "The game pays for itself," said the clerk. "You'll understand soon." We drove home in the same convoy, but everything was different now. The kids sat quietly in their seats, holding their new toys. The parents drove carefully, their wrapped dolls on the seats beside them. At home, Tommy invited everyone inside. The house felt bigger somehow, like it was growing to fit all the new players. "Should we all play at once?" asked the red-haired girl. "It's better if we take turns," Tommy said. "That way everyone gets to watch." The kids went first. One by one, they traded eyes with their dolls. Each trade was quick and quiet. No screaming, no crying. Just a moment of change, and then smiles. When it was over, all the kids looked different, but they also looked right. like they'd finally found their true faces. "Now the parents," said Tommy. The adults were more nervous, but they'd come this far. They couldn't stop now. I watched as each parent made their trade. Some took longer than others. Some fought it at first. But in the end, they all chose the game. When everyone was finished, we sat in my living room. 12 people who looked like a family but weren't quite human anymore. The dolls sat with us, now looking completely ordinary, just toys. "What happens now?" asked one of the new dads. "Now we live," said Tommy. "We play, we find more players." "How many more?" asked a new mom. "Everyone," said the clerk. She was standing in my doorway, even though I hadn't let her in. "The game doesn't end until everyone is playing." Over the next few days, we settled into our new life. The kids went back to school, but they were different students now. Smarter, more focused. They helped other kids with their problems. They made new friends easily. The parents went back to work, but they were better employees, more efficient, more helpful. Their bosses noticed the changes and gave them promotions. And every few days, someone new would join our family, a lonely kid who needed friends, a stressed parent who wanted peace, a teacher who was tired of fighting with students. The game spread slowly but surely, person by person, family by family. Nobody was forced to play, but once they saw how happy the players were, most people wanted to try it. The toy store got more customers. The clerk hired more workers. All of them had mismatched eyes and sharp smiles. After a month, half the town was playing. After 2 months, it was almost everyone. The few people who didn't play were perfectly safe, but they were also perfectly alone. I sometimes thought about the old days, when Tommy was just a regular kid with regular problems, when I was just a regular dad trying to make ends meet. But I didn't miss those days. Not really. The game had given us something better, a purpose, a family, a way to help other people find happiness. Tommy was in high school now, but he still looked 8 years old. That was part of the game. Players stayed the age they were when they first traded. I was still 35. I would always be 35. "Don't you miss growing up?" I asked him one day. "Why would I miss something I never needed?" he said. "Growing up is just getting older. Playing is forever." He was right. The game was forever, and so were we. Some nights I stood in Tommy's room and looked at the space where his mirrors used to be. I wondered what we'd see if we put them back. Would we still look human? Would we still look like ourselves? But I never put the mirrors back. Some questions were better left unanswered. The doll still sat on Tommy's dresser. Its brown eyes, Tommy's old eyes, looked at me with something like understanding, like it knew what I was thinking. "No regrets?" I asked it. The doll didn't answer, but I could feel its thoughts. Pictures of all the families we'd helped, all the kids who were happier now, all the parents who'd found peace. No regrets. The game continued. It always would. Somewhere in the world, another parent was walking into a toy store. Another clerk was smiling too wide. Another doll was waiting to be chosen. And somewhere, a child was about to find their true eyes. I bought my son a new toy. He hasn't left his room since. But that's okay, because his room is the whole world now, and the game never ends.